Damn, what a good episode. Holy crap, that was good. Woo. I am Joe. This is the Henshin Hangout. I am joined, as always, by...
Darrel, what's up, guys?
And filling in for Kelly,
Daniel.
We just did the Henshin Hangout, but now, we just did Power Rangers, but now we're doing the Henshin Hangout. What an amazing episode. What was the title of this one?
God, what was the...
Something about Stinger's brother.
The
it's Stinger, the challenge, Stinger's brother, like the challenge to Stinger's brother.
Something like that. We were just overwhelmed how amazing this was.
we get our real first look at Scorpio and all the things.
Backstory. So, we're just going to cut right into this episode because it's so good. We get our first look at a real big backstory on why Champ and Stinger don't get along.
Well,
we had a little glimpse of it before, but now it's fully, more or less, explained in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
We know that Dr. Anton dies, and that's Champ's kind of mentor, kind of creator, dies, and he thinks it's at the hands of Stinger. Stinger doesn't really speak up against it, so we're led to believe it could be Stinger. But dude, we get introduced to his brother, and his brother Scorpio is legit.
Oh man! Best villain so far in this entire series.
This series, this episode in particular, reminded me so much of Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
Oh well, there's so many hits to it.
Right, because you get the big bad Jark Matter, who is like the Snoke, and then you have Scorpio, who's kind of like what's his name, Kylo Ren.
Yeah,
right.
There you go.
So. It's amazing. The mask reminds me of Bleach. There's a lot of... This is like...
You put on the mask and the flame out of the side of his...
Dude, that was...
This is like a live-action anime, but done better than a lot of anime.
Oh, yeah.
I want to get your opinion real quick, Darrel. So what stood out to you the most this episode?
Everything? Just the whole team dynamic. What impressed me the most, not only with the film style and everything, all the shooting was fantastic, is the fact that we addressed not only everyone's interaction with each other, but you have Stinger and Champ's whole thing, and then even throughout the episode, they're forced to work together, and you can still tell that they don't like it. It's not forced. Mm-hmm. It's very in the heat of battle. Yes, this is what happened. Let's work together.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of very much of Jack and Sky from Power Rangers SPD.
Yes.
Those two guys never necessarily got along, but they're forced to work together and actually grow a mutual respect, even though they're not friends at the end of the day.
Right.
I love that you're right, it's not forced and nothing seems forced. I also like the fact that the 5 that get chosen to go down there, you have the Commander and Lucky on the same team.
Yeah.
But, dude, there's so much we got to talk about here.
Yeah.
This is a zombie episode,
man,
mixed in with a Star Wars episode.
I don't think we've ever really gotten a zombie episode. I mean, we got one in Dino Charge, technically, but we're talking Super Sentai right now. I'm scanning my brain, and I was like, I don't
recall one.
Yeah.
I don't.
But when
I could be wrong.
Back to my thought was that I like the fact that Lucky takes a backseat to the Commander in this episode in terms of leadership. And I think this is what I love the most is that they're not hitting home hard that, all right, red just automatically means leader.
Yeah.
Now, Daniel, talk to me about the elements of the zombie episode in this.
Okay, the elements as far as the zombie episode was interesting to me because it's something, once again, that we haven't seen. And the way it spread so quickly.
Right.
I love that. Scorpio just says, he gives a speech about what true power is. Walks into the whole senator,
I love that scene, by the way.
Delegate meeting, I guess. It's more of the governor talking to people.
Right.
But literally, okay, tell me all your problems so I can ultimately tell you I don't care. And you better fix them.
Yeah.
That's all it was. And it was just the people at that moment were just distraught. They had nothing. Right. They were on their knees just begging, please, please, please. And here he comes and just being a bad A. I mean, all a way around. And I love also about Scorpio, it's interesting how the villain has to have some level of asymmetry. So that actually works along with him being evil. It's there's no equality in him at all.
Right.
It's just all one way. I'm a one-track mind. So that's why the asymmetry is there. That's why it's one eye. And when he does a little the thing later where he leaves a logo, he does it and it's the one leg is the powerful leg.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's I love that whole thing because it shows that he's of one mind. He's not divided in any way. This is what I understand. This evil is there. But the zombie portion, I'm sorry. The zombie portion, just
just
with
how
the
good
poison,
this episode is.
yeah, with the poison, it spreads, and it's still able to spread, and that's where it becomes. That's where you definitely understand it's more of a zombie thing, where he hits the one monster, and then after that, he scratches another, hits another. They start to get infected, and then you're like, man, oh, so this could go very far. Sure enough, you know how far it goes. Doors open up. So many infected come running in, and you're like, man, okay, we're getting a zombie episode. And it was right from there. Doors open, zombie episode, and you were like, all right, I'm in.
The thing I liked about this was because the stakes were really high. Like, as soon as they figured out, oh, we have an antidote, it wasn't just like, oh, let's go over to town in our Voyagers and like sprinkle antidote.
Right.
No, they had to go to every single person individually and just...
I mean, they made it so it wasn't easy to win.
Yes.
And I love...
The stakes are higher, and I love that. I love that in these episodes.
And it's almost, you almost forget that there was even like a villain in this episode because it's all story. Like, I love the fact that this isn't a villain of the week. This is a plotted out story that you kind of got to follow from point A to point B to get to where we have to go. Yeah. Because we also see that our young Sky Blue, what's his name?
Kotaro.
Kotaro, that he has to train. And Champ's kind of like, yeah, you got to train. You got to be strong. And they send him down. It's almost like a going away thing. I like that because by the end of this episode, without jumping ahead too, well, we're going to jump into the end. A few of them are in different places.
Yeah.
And it opens the door for a ton of possibilities. And I love this. I mean, and just the stylistic cinematic shooting that they did.
Like, they cut the commercial break, and then they came back, and like it was first person shooting, like knocking people out, and just like doing his thing. I love, now that I'm thinking about, I guess the thing I really liked about this episode is that you had a billion different things in the episode, and none of it felt rushed.
Yes.
Everything felt like it fit. And usually when Super Sentai or Power Rangers does that, it's just like, oh, that just felt like it was just kind of like thrown in there. It just felt like rushed.
Well, it didn't feel like a formula.
Yeah.
Well, what it does feel like, I'll point this out, it feels like when that happens on Rangers and everything else, it feels like they had so many different directors.
Yeah.
In one, but this still felt like a unified thought.
Yeah.
And that's what I did love. I loved it so much. Like, it was cinematic even before that first-person shooter thing, where they had moments where they were giving us a backstory about Scorpio and everything else. It was just so good. The camera movement for it, the shots they chose to take, was just even transitions with the flames coming over and changing over it. It just goes into a deeper, darker story. So good this episode.
I also like that. I mean, how many? What episode is this? This is
16, 15. No,
this
we're
is
14.
13. So we're 13 episodes in, right? This show has gotten me to care about, and because originally when they said, oh, there's going to start off with 9, and right now we're at 11. It's like, dude, there's 11 Rangers, so that's a lot. And then you think, you've given me 13 episodes. I care about every single one of them.
Yes.
Not only do I care about them, they've all been highlighted. And even, like, for example, there are obviously characters in today's episode that we're talking about that aren't necessarily in the spotlight, but they're there. And I think that's the brilliance, is you don't have to give everybody a thing to do in one episode. In every episode. You just got to highlight the ones that you need for that specific episode. Well, you get people to care.
They figured out how to be able to do a translation of storytelling, like, for example, an adult show like Lost has done with an ensemble cast for a kid's show. That's genius, and
it's
the
great.
The formula's already been there, and it's something that people should have utilized. And now they figured out, well, okay, we're just gonna do it. And yes, I love the fact that they know their audience isn't stupid, so they can do this, and that's what I appreciate. I always appreciate that about the show. I always do. Storytelling is premium. It's
for a kid show, this is amazing. This is everything we've ever really wanted in like this style of show, because it goes above and beyond, but it doesn't go over this is a kid show. It doesn't like go over beyond that. It's great. This is a great show.
Do you think if Saban were to adapt it exactly, that the American fans would be okay with it? Because me personally, if I got this adaptation exactly, I think I'd be okay with it. Mainly because, like, I saw the story told once. I know it was good. And at the very least, you're not going to disappoint me.
Yes. I can see that a bunch of different ways. Like, they did that with SPD. SPD got a lot of high marks for being one of the best Power Ranger seasons ever. But it also got, like, thumbs down. I can't think of the word I want. Because it was like word for word, almost exactly the same. It's like, where's the creativity, blah, blah, blah. But this season is just so good that it's just like, I think I might be okay with that. Yeah. Because we already haven't gotten a lot of good Power Ranger seasons, and the fact that we're going to get some quality stuff just from that writing alone, I might be okay with that. That entirely.
And I also think that, I like Chiplin a lot. But if you do bring in Greg Aronowitz, who did Power Rangers SPD, because he's already familiar with the special effects and the props,
and the fact that this is also
a space season,
yeah,
it almost ties back. You did interview him. I mean,
dude,
we should hit him up on Twitter. Let's get him on this show.
I would love to, because if he gets to take over,
let's get him on the show.
All right, we're gonna make
favorite show ever.
We're gonna try to get Greg on this show and have him sit down and watch an episode with us and see. Okay, let's talk about, and I would love for this to happen. By the way,
I would love to pick his brain concerning what he sees and what he thinks could happen, because man,
I want to show him this episode specifically.
Yes, he has so many great ideas about where he feels Rangers could go.
Yeah,
he had the same idea that you said about why not make the show where it does grow with its audience for a 5-year span.
Yes,
and boom, 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 and then after that we reset and do it again and reset. It would be great. You'd be able to see the development. When he said it and you said it's just. Oh, I would love Greg to be here. Yeah,
why is that moving so
I don't know.
That's so weird. No, you didn't do anything. It was just...
I would love that.
No, another thing, too, is that this season, if it is done in the American way, it opens up so many possibilities. Not only do you need to only hire voice actors and use just the tokusatsu forms of some of these Rangers, if you do go in the direction of making them all Rangers, then it leads you open to hiring a ton of new talent actors.
Yeah.
But it also leaves the door open to bringing back characters for a whole season.
Right.
Like the Commander is a great example. Now, there's a couple things I noticed about the Commander, is that his helmet is very similar to Tommy's helmet in Dino Thunder.
Yeah.
Not saying that people are. I'm not saying at all.
Not the visor.
Not the visor, but the actual
helmet
spreads
itself.
out. It. Not saying that Tommy's coming back and Jason David Frank's going to play another Ranger. Just saying that.
Don't spread that rumor.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that it leads itself open to if they do want to bring back Austin St. John, or if they want to bring back Andros as a mentor, or whatever it may be. It could fit very well in this season.
Oh yeah.
The one thing I did like, and our producer JD knows this, a lot of people know this, I love zombie stuff.
Yeah.
So the one thing I always love about zombie stuff, though, is that they do their best to do the black and white makeup, but this is old school zombie. I'm talking like George Romero zombie stuff. Oh, and I like the color palette that they used for the muted colors when they turn into zombies. It was brilliant.
Oh yeah.
Not just the makeup. Oh, that was cool too. Not just the makeup, but I mean the actual people that were zombies. Like they just used the black and whites.
That's right.
It was like, to me, I love that kind of like, I want to get you into the mood of zombies, and this is the way we're doing it. I love that story. I also like the fact that we get Hammy turning into a zombie.
Yes.
This is so cool to me, and I like they have to carry her out, and Champ puts her to sleep with one of his things.
Yeah.
And we get to see the other Kyutamas, what powers they have.
Yeah.
I like this. I mean, this show's so versatile in what it does.
It is, man.
Darrel, what did you think about? Because it's hard to say because we didn't have a Monster of the Week. So what did you think about the villain and the Jark Matter stuff?
This villain he's going to be some intense stuff. Also, quick trivia thing. So in a previous Kamen Rider series, Kamen Rider Gun, he's actually like more of an anti-villain thing. And I guess in a lot of like different tokusatsu media, he comes back and he's always like the I'm the dark, blah, blah,
brooding
blah,
one.
Brooding, evil, anti-hero kind of character. And so it's cool to see him again and like this. But here he seems more on a different level. It's weird to see him like that.
Well, it's calculating.
Yeah, exactly.
It's more of a.
So when he does the whole like kick thing, I was like,
dude,
boom.
It literally is like how you see the big bad villain that will just like. Okay.
He doesn't take shit. He's just
no,
like,
he doesn't. Failure is not an option.
I
and
will
he definitely
actually
displayed that.
Like, you know how like in all like things like that, it's like, oh, if you fail, I'm gonna like destroy you, and it actually doesn't happen. No, it's like he didn't even talk to him. He just turned around and kicked him, and he exploded into like ink or blood or whatever that was.
Just so he can still send a message to them.
Yeah.
Because he knows they're inside of the Zord. So I mean, looking out, how are they gonna see it? Okay.
There's a giant logo.
Exactly.
Right there.
That was awesome, by the way.
And the thing is, like you said, he doesn't take failure as an option.
Yeah.
And that was the whole thing. Yes, I didn't speak to him, but also it lets us know
yeah.
that he sees everyone as expendable.
Now, Daniel,
Everyone's
talk
excited.
to me about the Jark Matter Scorpio interaction and like the backstory there, 'cause that was really cool.
Okay, so that whole scene was cool because, like you said, kind of reminded us types of shadows of Star Wars, right? We got that as far as the hologram and Jark Matter saying things to him, like, pretty much telling him, well, Scorpio, am I right? Scorpio approached him and said how he allow his poison to, allow my poison to work for you, or do whatever it is that you would like. And he says, okay, well, what I'll do essentially is amp your ability up even more. Of course, it's going to change him. He has no problem. I'll accept it. And with that, boom, now you've become my acolyte. And go and spread. And he was so willing to, and I love that because once again, it shows the separation or different dichotomy between Scorpio and his brother. Because it's just, okay, here goes one person that's, here goes the good, here goes the evil. And they both come from the same family and, same upbringing.
Right.
What is the reason that there happens to be this separation? It's what's his driving force?
Exactly.
I want to know. And it's something that does come up where you're like, what is he thinking? Why did he even want to do this?
Exactly.
So it's like, you care so much more about the characters.
All this like character-driven stuff is very reminiscent of like a lot of anime tropes. Like we were talking about this before, how he's a very Sasuke-like character, and he's trying to kill his brother. We said he might not even like go that far, and then his brother turns to a higher power.
Well, that's what you said, that you didn't want that to happen.
And I didn't want that, and like I still kind of don't like it. Actually, seeing the process behind it now in this like episode is like, I can get behind it now. It's still a little weird for me though, but I really hope this plays out even higher than I expected.
So there's two questions I have, and I want each one of you to take one question each. So when do you think we're actually going to see Jark Matter actually appear in the show?
Do you want to take this or me?
You go.
Me? Okay. This one. I want to say not until like the 30s. Episode 30.
So you're thinking in about 15 more episodes, 17 more episodes.
Because I'm like, as cool as this arc is, as far as
building up the villain, it's doing a job.
Yeah, as far as Scorpio, I wonder how long they can keep his character around and keep him interesting.
Right.
Because they did that in Gokaiger. I don't know if you guys, but they had like Bosco, who was kind of like Captain Marvelous's other half. Like Captain Marvelous was the good guy and Bosco was the bad guy, and they like their whole rivalry was so good because no matter what, every time they fought Bosco, they lost. And so this seems like the kind of character that might do exactly the same thing. But how long would that keep the audience interested?
Right.
Like how long is like, oh, there's Scorpio again. I guess they're just going to lose. Or are they going to win this time? Oh, they actually won. And then anticipation.
And I also think that makes the stakes for the show that much more, because is when we see the villain per se, but we're building up to the villain.
Yeah.
This is almost like a video game where you beat one boss, now you go to the next, It raises the stakes.
And then you realize that everything leads up to something bigger.
I love that. It's storytelling.
How many seasons are we having of the show?
It's only
Are
one.
we gonna have the one? How many episodes in total?
Usually
there's
50.
50.
It's
50?
usually 50.
I think we're not gonna see Jark
like the
Matter
40s?
actually show up until the late 40s. I'm talking about the last 5 episodes. I think that we'll have, besides Scorpio, we're still gonna have one more other villain that shows up, just as the buffer in between. Then after that, we'll finally get to go ahead and deal with.
Let me ask you guys this really quick. So we're speculating when we're going to see Jark Matter. If it's like in this last 5 episodes or whenever,
last 10.
30,
Last
whatever,
10.
It's just like, what do you think is going to happen when they finally have to face him? Do you think they're going to come to Earth, Jark Matter's going to come, or are they going to go find Jark Matter in space?
That's a great question. I think that they'll come to Earth. However, I think that we know that there's at least 3 more Rangers coming. I think that they're going to have to build up every one of them as a squad to take him on, and that might be a multiple episode type deal,
Right.
which would be very cool. I would even like to see maybe, let's say that there are 15 of them, 3 teams of 5 having to do 3 different things, following 3 different stories, and then have to come together to fight him. I think that would be brilliant.
That would be really good.
But you almost led me into my next question, and this one's for you, Daniel. Do you want to see Scorpio ever do the face turn, ever turn him good? Or do you want to keep him bad throughout the whole thing? and then die the villain.
I think it's really poetic for him to die as a villain, and still have that whole thing where, well, Stinger has to deal with the fact that, okay, my brother turned evil, and I actually killed my brother.
Right.
I would like to see that kind of plague him.
Or do you want Champ to kill him? If that happened.
I want Stinger to do it, and I want Champ to be like, he was mine to kill, and it was like, well, it's my brother.
And it's my burden, because that was a big part of this. I have to carry the burden of what.
And then they still have their little bump of heads.
That's interesting.
About you?
I don't know.
Because if you get your redemption like you don't want, it's kind of like...
That's the thing. Like, I kind of want Stinger to go up against Scorpio, and Scorpio, like, stays evil up to the very end, and that'll just piss off everyone. Because that's what Stinger wants. He wants to, like, try and save him.
Right.
You know, at the very back of his mind, it's like, no, I'm going to save my brother, bring him back to the side of good. But if he doesn't ultimately get that, I think that might even antagonize, like, the whole audience. Like, oh, man, he was just bitter till the very end. Like, there was just no turning him back. I wonder if that's going to be the kind of thing we're getting. But Sentai also is a very time where, you know, bad guy turns good again at the very last second. He saves the squad from some unforgettable evil or something like that, and then he dies. That's usually how Sentai plays.
Is that kind of how Kyuranger did it with
Burai?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is, yeah. Which is why I'm expecting that. I really hope they don't do that. And if he does turn good, at least be good for a good amount of time.
Well, see, now I'm thinking if that does happen, it would be kind of formulaic where all of a sudden he's supposed to kill Champ, he doesn't. Jark Matter says, get out of the way, and I'll just do it. Like, a la Harry Potter kind of thing. Kills him. Then after that, he's like, oh, dude, now I'm going to go ahead and turn good, and then still dies.
Or maybe Jark Matter finally kills him. Ooh.
That could be an interesting twist,
be cool.
too.
Like, they're about to, like, finish him off, and then, like, the big guy up top is, like, shoots him with an arrow.
So both of you are led
cool.
to, are we led to assume that Scorpio does not become one of the new Rangers that are coming in?
I think it'd be cool if he did, but become an evil Ranger. Like, steal orange for a little bit.
Like maybe that alternate red that we saw?
Yeah. Maybe.
Stealing orange, I love that idea, by the way. I like that idea a lot, mainly because I want to see some of these powers shift, like, to other people.
Okay.
I think that'd be really cool.
I think it would be really cool also, actually.
Dang.
I love that idea. I also like we also know we're getting a couple more, or at least a few more.
Right.
Do you think... All right, right now we have a ton of them. We know where a few of them are going, and I feel even some of them, some story arcs feel a little bit more complete to me. Like, I feel that Raptor's story arc is almost complete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because her whole goal was just to become one of the Rangers, and now she did.
And now she is.
So she's more of a background player now. Who other story arcs are kind of like dangling plot threads do you want to see resolved? Because we got Garu, who we haven't really had much about.
Garu's
lately.
Whole thing is that, you know, he wants
like
to
Garu a
avenge
lot.
his people, and I feel like that's not going to be something that gets resolved until much, much later.
I agree. We also have Balance and Naga, who you know. Which is funny because when Balance showed up, kind of was like, I'm leaving everybody behind. And Naga's trying to find his motion, but his people are also kind of in the same kind of peril.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's something else we got to play out.
Lucky still. I mean, the Burning Temple. Now we understood exactly what happened to him. Is his story pretty much done then?
No, I don't think so.
Like, we still have to figure out. Like I brought up in the last thing is, like, Lucky still isn't his name. It was a name given to him.
Yes.
It's like
why
Doctor
was
Who.
it given to him? That's the thing. It's like I want to find out more.
We haven't even touched on what's her name? Hammy at all, really.
Oh no, we haven't.
It's one character that we haven't really seen. We haven't seen any kind of backstory. We don't necessarily know how she got there.
Now that we're even talking about it, I don't even think we have a motivation for her.
Not yet.
As far as fighting.
We don't have a how. We don't have a why.
Because we barely got it from Spada a little bit not too long ago.
That's right.
But yeah, Hammy's the one. I feel like the one character we don't have that. I mean, huge plot points are. I've definitely championed Stinger.
Yeah.
Obviously, we kind of had Lucky's last time we did this show.
Yeah.
That's starting to get resolved slowly but surely, but it'll get there. The little boys.
We're building Kotaro's right now since he's leaving.
The Commanders was awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like that one was really good. So everybody kind of has these stories to play, and I love the pacing that we're getting them at, and the pacing that
it's
we're building.
not rushed, and I love that about, especially with this many characters. This is something we should definitely be expecting. Like, oh, this episode was just too much. There was too much happening. No, it's like there's a lot happening, but everything matters, and I love that.
And the tone. Let's talk about the tone of the show real quick, because in certain episodes, we can sit back and joke and be like, "Oh, they made a joke that was referential."
Like the dream-eating monster or something like that.
Birthday,
or even the self-referential kind of like, "Oh, we can only send 5 people, budgetary reasons." You know what I mean? Like that. But this was a straight-up serious episode, and it's crazy to me that the tone of this show can shift so dramatically, but we're watching the same show. They do it so brilliant.
And it doesn't feel wrong. It feels perfect. In fact, like there's a comment that Commander even says, like, "I'm not good with talking, but here, let me sing you a song." And there's like, for such a silly trope, there's your explanation in just like one word sentence. "I'm not good with talking. Let me sing you a freaking song."
That's it.
It was silly, but it made sense.
Yeah.
And this is my point, is that they do such a great job at not only making you care about the characters, but putting you in a different genre every single week. Because right now, I could watch the next episode, and I know we're a little bit behind, so we apologize, but we're going to catch up, trust us.
The next episode is a dancing episode.
But we'll get there.
We'll see what happens.
Well, I mean, this is always changing.
It will still be good.
And somehow, some way, it's going to be like, because if you would have wrote some of these episodes down on paper, I'd have been like, a birthday stealer episode? There's no way this is going to work.
Bull hockey.
And then we watch it, I'm like, this is actually a really good episode.
Really good episode.
There's a ton of these, and I also like the fact, this is Naga in balance in general, is that they're bounty hunters. Something else we haven't touched on.
That's right.
Is that they are bounty hunters.
Like, that's how good these episodes are. That the fact that, like, JD, how long have we been recording this? How long is it?
What?
25 minutes.
25 minutes? The fact that we can have a 25-minute discussion over this episode.
Non-stop.
And, like, non-stop, like, there's something, you know.
That's how good it is.
That's amazing.
Did you guys notice, I know you pointed it out, but did you notice that Stinger was the first?
Oh, the
first
first
recruit?
Yeah, I
That's
think
a-
Darrel
that's a
said
big
that,
thing.
or it was you
He's
or
the
Darrel.
first Kyuranger.
He was the first recruit.
Yeah.
So, man.
But here's the cool thing, too. Going back to the commander, I like the fact that he's the one that's recruiting everybody.
Yes,
it's almost like we all want to say like, oh, this is like we kind of trust him. He's kind of, but it's all kind of really methodical, actually.
It is.
And dude, this is why the show's so brilliant. Is because you can take us in a room and put us down, and I know it's a kids show, but we can watch it and be like, that show's really good.
Yeah.
Like, not only is it just for kids, but it's actually a very good told story.
There's a bit of complex storytelling, and it's like it's great because it's compartmentalized, but yet you put it all together.
Exactly.
And they make sure to present it to you in a great way.
It's one of those things that, like, even if you took out the elements of the Rangers and the transformation, blah, 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 and translated this same story into something else, it could totally work.
Totally
Yeah,
work.
man.
It's,
Definitely.
Like, it's not dependent on, you know, all the gimmicks and all the things like that. It works as its own thing. I love that.
Do you guys, let's be real, like, I am concerned. Are you concerned that Saban's going to get their hands on this and we're not going to get the same quality?
I'm scared. I'm incredibly scared for this season.
And imagine next MorphCon they announce this and like all these cast members come up. Like that announcement for this is going to be kind of mind-boggling as well.
This is going to be the one where it's like, this is the make it or break it season, really. Because we've had all these big seasons like Super Mega Force, and now we're having all these casts returning for Ninja Steel. And like, there's so many big cast announcements. And now that they have this like 11 Ranger season, what are they going to do?
You know, I'd have been okay with this being the 25th season.
Yeah, same. Like,
Because it feels...
It would have been a big change.
It's very fitting to have a team on this scale to be that. And if you would have dove deep into the Power Ranger lore, it would have been, oh, this makes sense for the 25th season.
You know, this is one of those things that makes me wonder, like, why is this the 41st season and not the 40th? Because 40th was a different one. It was Zyuranger. It was Rubik's,
the animals? Is that the
Cube, animal thing. I personally
is it the Minecraft Zord?
Yeah.
The Minecraft stuff?
I was not a fan of that. I heard the story was really good, but I didn't like anything about it. I couldn't even get through episode 2. And then we have this, which isn't even an anniversary season, and it's absolutely killing it.
Yeah, it makes you wonder like if anything's being changed at the top, where they're like, no, you know what? Make it for America, or if it's more like, you know, do what you want. Let's just tell a good story. Whatever it is that they're doing.
Something at the top is happening, and like, you know.
They know exactly what they're doing, and I think that's so brilliantly done. Who is it? Toei that does this, right?
Toei,
in Japan.
yeah.
They do an excellent job at just creating. And here's the thing: it's like they're giving us like here's the golden season
Literally.
that's going to bring all
Let's
your
see
fans.
what you can do with
It's
this.
not, but it's like, hey, this is everything you need just to make a good season. And I'm just curious to be like, if they're like, let's do this, let's do that, let's all. And then it's like, dude, please don't ruin this season.
Yeah, like
for
you're
me.
like, I really made this, so it's so easy to translate.
It's one of those things because I'm a big advocate of like Power Rangers, do your own thing, be original and whatnot. But Jesus, this season is just so good that I can't. It hurts me.
Goseiger that a lot
Goseiger.
that a lot of people had problems with the same reason. So it's a lot of people loved it, and they kind of got a bad taste in their mouth when we converted it. So those people now, I've never seen that season, even though I've been told to watch it by multiple people.
It's all right.
I'm worried that Kyuranger is going to be my version of that, and that we're going to get it here in America, and I'm going to be like, oh.
My thing is, people have heard me before, and I've asked the question: is Saban here now for just a cash grab? People may hate me for it, but if this translating into American television is done poorly, it's answered my question.
Yeah,
I'm being honest. It's answered my question.
It's the same thing that I have with Gokaiger, is that they have all the materials handed to them to make a great season. Like, just pick and choose what you want and just make it great. And if you don't do it, what did you even like look at the material you were using?
Yeah.
Seriously.
See, that's my worry is them converting this stuff to an American audience and then using the same villain of the week and without telling an overarching story.
Yeah, exactly.
But let's rank this. How many Kyutamas are you going to give this show?
What are we on? I'm going to give
11.
I'm going to give it 12.
12.
I agree.
I also
rolled down
agree.
into it did that one where it says all of them can go.
Yeah.
That was it.
That's me too. I'm dropping the one where all of them can go. This is amazing.
Episode was perfect. Is like, I wish all the episodes are great, but I wish all the episodes were like this.
Yeah.
It was perfect. I couldn't find anything wrong with it. It was great.
It was an amazing episode. Also, I think this is as close to perfect for a
Super Sentai
as you're gonna get.
Yeah.
But I think that's gonna do it for us. We do have a store. It's at TeePublic. You can just type in TeePublic, that hashtag show. Store should pop up. You could get Ranger shirts there. You can get all the shirts we do, anime, Doctor Who, whatever it may be that you're into. They have them there. Also, you can check out our website where we have new content coming out all week long based on all the stuff we talk about here, but also breaking news. Like we just broke Titans, and I guess by the time you watch this, we'd have broken something else that's big. I don't know what it's going to be at that point because I don't know when this is going to air. But yes, Daniel, where can we find you?
You can find me on social media at @TheRealJ_Rome, except for Facebook. There's no underscore there. So just put in @TheRealJRome, and that's where you'll find me. Also on Saturdays, you can find me on the Doctor Who wrap-up show, which is live from Gallifrey.
Yes, I think by the time this airs, it'll be the last episode, though.
Or
maybe not even now.
Ooh, yeah, it will be.
Darrel.
You can find me on social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, Darrel J. Delphin. Just all one word, no underscores, no periods, nothing like that. And then on Thursdays, you can find me on the Anime Super Chat it's either 7 or 8, it depends all the time. Ranger Wrap Up on Saturdays, early morning. For California, early morning for California. And that's basically it.
Yes, you can also find me on the Ranger Wrap Up with Darrel on Saturdays. I'm on Morphin Mondays, also on the newsfeed every Monday where we break top stories in this industry.
Twin Peaks.
You also on Twin Peaks on
Peaks,
Sundays.
yeah.
I forgot about that. So we do that. I'm also on Screen Rant, so you can check out my interviews there on screenrant.com. But I think that's going to do it for us. On social media, you can find me at that hashtag Joe. That's going to do it for us. Thanks for watching. We love this. I can't wait to do the next episode. I want to just binge through it now.
Let's just watch it right now.
Yeah, right? We're going to probably watch it right now. But thank you for watching. Hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with everything trending
in geek pop culture.
That was very cohesive, guys. Very cohesive. We'll see you guys next week.